Have you ever felt empty and you couldn't explain why? Not sad, not angry, not even stressed, just empty, like something is missing inside you, but you don't know what it is. You go through your day, talk to people, do what you're supposed to do, but deep down, something just doesn't feel right. And the confusing part is, from the outside, everything might look fine. You might have things going for you, responsibilities you're handling, even moments where you smile. But inside, there's this quiet feeling that you can't shake, like you're disconnected from yourself or from life. The truth is, this feeling is more common than you think, and more importantly, it's not random. There are real reasons why you might be feeling this way, even if you haven't been able to put it into words. In today's video, we're going to talk about why you feel empty inside, even when you don't know why. Understanding this feeling is the first step toward reconnecting with yourself and finding your emotional balance again. Welcome to Mental Health Simplified by HMHCF, where we talk about mental health in a simple, honest, and relatable way. If you enjoy content like this, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos that help you understand your mind better. Let's get into the first reason. Why? 1. You've been emotionally overwhelmed for too long. One of the most common reasons people feel empty inside is because they've been emotionally overwhelmed for a long time. When your mind is constantly dealing with stress, pressure, responsibilities, or unresolved emotions, it can reach a point where it simply cannot process everything anymore. Instead of continuing to feel everything intensely, your brain may begin to shut things down as a way to protect you. At first, this might not be obvious. You may just feel tired or mentally drained, but over time, this emotional overload can turn into a kind of numbness. It's like your mind is saying, "This is too much. I need to slow everything down." As a result, your emotions become less intense, and eventually, you may start to feel nothing at all. This doesn't mean your emotions are gone. It means they've been suppressed because your mind hasn't had enough space or time to process them properly. When emotions are constantly pushed aside or ignored, they don't disappear, they build up in the background, and when that buildup becomes too much, the brain switches into a low-energy state, which can feel like emptiness. Recognizing this is important because it shifts how you see the feeling. Instead of thinking something is wrong with you, you begin to understand that your mind is actually trying to protect itself. What you're feeling is not failure, it's a signal that you've been carrying too much for too long without enough emotional rest. Why? 2. You've lost connection with yourself. Another powerful reason you may feel empty inside is because you've slowly lost connection with yourself. This doesn't usually happen suddenly. It happens over time, often without you even noticing. Life gets busy, responsibilities increase, expectations grow, and before you know it, you're constantly focused on what you need to do rather than how you actually feel. You stop checking in with yourself, stop asking what you need, and instead, you just keep going. Over time, this creates a quiet distance between who you are and how you live your daily life. When you're disconnected from yourself, it becomes harder to understand your own emotions, desires, and needs. You may find yourself making decisions based on what others expect, what feels safe, or what seems practical, rather than what truly feels right to you. This can lead to a life that looks okay on the outside but feels unfulfilling on the inside. The more you ignore your inner voice, the quieter it becomes, until eventually, you may not even recognize it anymore. That disconnection can feel like emptiness because you're no longer fully in touch with your own identity. This loss of connection can also affect how you experience everyday life. Things may start to feel less meaningful, less exciting, or less important. You may go through your routine without feeling fully present, as if you're just playing a role rather than truly living. Even moments that should feel enjoyable might not bring the same level of satisfaction because you're not emotionally connected to them. It's not that life has lost its value, it's that your connection to it has weakened. Rebuilding that connection takes time, but it starts with awareness. Simply recognizing that you've drifted away from yourself is already a powerful step. When you begin to slow down, reflect, and pay attention to your thoughts and feelings again, you start rebuilding that relationship with yourself. And as that connection grows stronger, the feeling of emptiness can slowly begin to fade, replaced by a deeper sense of clarity and self-understanding. Why? 3. You're living on autopilot. Another reason you may feel empty inside is because you've been living on autopilot for too long. This happens when your life becomes a series of routines and responsibilities that you repeat every day without much thought or emotional engagement. You wake up, go through your tasks, handle your responsibilities, and go to bed, only to repeat the same cycle again. While routines can be helpful, living entirely on autopilot can make life start to feel dull, repetitive, and disconnected. When you're constantly on autopilot, your mind is not fully present in what you're doing. You may be physically there, but mentally, you're just going through the motions. Over time, this lack of presence can create a sense of emptiness because you're not truly experiencing your own life. Moments pass by without leaving a strong impression, and days start to blend together without any real sense of meaning or fulfillment. This can also affect how you perceive time. You might feel like days, weeks, or even months are passing quickly, but without any memorable or meaningful experiences. This creates a sense of emotional flatness, where life feels less engaging and less alive. You may begin to question why things feel this way, without realizing that the issue is not necessarily what you're doing, but how you're experiencing it. Breaking out of autopilot doesn't require a complete life change. It often starts with small shifts, like being more present in your daily activities, paying attention to your surroundings, and allowing yourself to fully experience moments as they happen. When you begin to live more consciously, even simple experiences can start to feel more meaningful, and that sense of emptiness can gradually be replaced with a deeper connection to your everyday life. Why 4? You feel like your life lacks meaning or purpose. Feeling empty inside can also come from a lack of meaning or purpose in your life. As humans, we naturally want to feel like what we're doing matters, like our actions have value and direction. When that sense of purpose is missing, life can start to feel directionless. Even if everything seems fine on the surface, you may be doing what you're supposed to do, meeting expectations, and staying busy, but still feel like something important is missing. This feeling often becomes more noticeable during quiet moments. When you're alone with your thoughts, you might start questioning what you're doing, where you're going, or whether any of it truly matters to you. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to feel disconnected from your own life, as if you're just moving forward without a deeper reason behind it. That lack of direction can create a sense of emptiness that is difficult to explain. It's important to understand that purpose doesn't have to be something big or dramatic. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan or a lifelong mission. Sometimes, purpose can be found in small, meaningful actions, personal growth, or the way you connect with others. But when you're overwhelmed, distracted, or disconnected, it becomes harder to recognize those sources of meaning, and everything can start to feel less significant. Rediscovering a sense of purpose often begins with reflection, taking time to think about what matters to you, what you enjoy, and what gives you a sense of fulfillment can help you reconnect with meaning. As you begin to align your actions with what feels important to you, even in small ways, that sense of emptiness can slowly start to shift into a feeling of direction and purpose. Why 5? You're emotionally drained. Another major reason behind feeling empty inside is emotional exhaustion. When you've been dealing with stress, pressure, responsibilities, or emotional struggles for a long period of time, your mind can become drained. At that point, it's no longer just about feeling tired, it's about having very little emotional energy left to feel, respond, or engage with life. When emotional energy is low, your mind naturally tries to conserve what little is left. One way it does this is by reducing emotional intensity. Instead of feeling everything deeply, you may start to feel less of everything. This can create a sense of numbness or emptiness, where emotions feel distant or muted. It's not that your emotions have disappeared, it's that your mind is trying to protect itself from further exhaustion. You may also notice that things that once affected you strongly no longer have the same impact. Situations that would normally make you happy, excited, or even upset might not trigger much of a reaction. This can be confusing, especially if you're used to feeling things more deeply. But in reality, your mind is simply running low on the energy needed to process emotions fully. Recovering from emotional exhaustion takes time and patience. It often requires slowing down, reducing unnecessary pressure, and giving yourself space to rest and recharge. As your emotional energy gradually returns, your ability to feel and connect with life can begin to come back as well. Why 6? You suppress your feelings. Finally, one of the deeper reasons you may feel empty inside is because you've been suppressing your feelings. Many people learn to hide or ignore their emotions, especially if they've been taught to stay strong, avoid vulnerability, or keep their feelings to themselves. While this might seem helpful in the short term, it can have long-term effects on your emotional well-being. When you suppress your emotions, you're not actually getting rid of them. Instead, you're pushing them beneath the surface, where they remain unprocessed. Over time, this can create a buildup of unresolved emotions that your mind doesn't know how to release. Eventually, rather than continuing to hold all of that emotional weight, your brain may respond by shutting down emotional expression altogether. This is where emptiness can begin to appear. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you may feel disconnected from your emotions entirely. It can feel like there's a barrier between you and your own feelings, making it difficult to understand or express what you're going through. This can also affect your relationships, as it becomes harder to connect with others on a deeper emotional level. Learning to process emotions in a healthy way can help restore that connection. This doesn't mean you have to share everything with everyone, but it does mean allowing yourself to acknowledge what you feel instead of pushing it away. Over time, as you become more open to your emotions, that sense of emptiness can begin to fade, replaced by a more natural and balanced emotional experience. Feeling empty inside is something many people go through, even if they don't talk about it. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it shows up quietly, in the way you go through your day without feeling fully present, or in the way things that used to matter don't seem to affect you the same way anymore. But as we've talked about in this video, this feeling doesn't come from nowhere. It often builds up from emotional overload, disconnection from yourself, living on autopilot, lack of purpose, emotional exhaustion, or suppressing your feelings for too long. The most important thing to understand is that this emptiness is not a permanent state. It's a signal. It's your mind's way of telling you that something needs attention, care, and understanding. And the moment you begin to recognize it, you're already taking the first step toward change. You don't have to fix everything at once. Even small steps like slowing down, checking in with yourself, and allowing yourself to feel again can begin to create a shift over time. You are not alone in feeling this way, even if it sometimes feels like you are. Many people experience this at different points in their lives, and it doesn't mean you're broken or lost. It simply means your mind has been trying to cope in the best way it knows how. With time, awareness, and the right kind of care, that feeling of emptiness can gradually be replaced with a sense of connection, meaning, and emotional balance. If this video spoke to you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Mental Health Simplified by HMHCF for more simple and honest conversations about mental health. And I really want to hear from you. Have you ever felt this kind of emptiness before? Or which part of this video did you relate to the most? Drop your answer in the comments. Your experience might help someone else realize they're not alone.